burst from the tree line and into the camp's main clearing, gasping, stumbling. The other counselors looked up from their evening preparations, concern flickering across their faces as they took in my appearance. I must have looked wild, scratched, breathless, probably white as a sheet myself. "What happened to you?" Sarah asked, setting down the guitar she'd been tuning for evening worship. "You look like you've seen a ghost." I almost laughed at how close to the truth that might be. Instead, I forced myself to catch my breath, to think rationally about what I'd experienced. There was someone in the woods. A man. He was just standing there. Probably a hiker, Mike suggested, though he was frowning. Though they're not supposed to be on camp property. No, this was different. I struggled to find words that wouldn't make me sound insane. He was very pale, and he wasn't moving, at all. What do you mean, not moving? How could I explain the supernatural stillness, the way he'd appeared closer each time I blinked? I mean, he wasn't breathing. He was just watching me. The other counselors exchanged glances. I could see the doubt in their eyes, the careful way they were choosing their words. They thought I was either lying or having some kind of breakdown. "Maybe we should tell Pastor Williams," Sarah suggested gently. "If there's someone trespassing." "No." The word came out sharper than I'd intended. "No, I'm fine. It was probably just, I don't know, the light playing tricks." But even as I said it, I knew it wasn't true. I could still see those dark, bottomless eyes in my mind, still feel the weight of that patient, inhuman stare. Dinner passed in a blur of concerned glances and whispered conversations. I picked at my food, scanning the tree line visible through the mess hall windows. Everything looked normal, just dark pines swaying gently in the evening breeze. But normal was exactly what worried me. If the chalk white man was real, where was he now? Evening worship was held around the central fire pit, as always. Pastor Williams led us in familiar hymns while the flames danced and crackled, casting shifting shadows across the circle of young faces. Usually, this was my favorite part of camp, the sense of community, of shared faith and purpose. Tonight, I couldn't concentrate on anything but the darkness beyond the fire's reach. I found myself blinking more than usual, hyper-aware of each momentary blackness.
Teeth.
During one
Where's the
particularly long
teeth?
blink,
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
prayer, I felt a chill that had nothing
I don't
to
see
do
a
with
tooth.
October air. When I opened
Oh,
them,
that had teeth?
Pastor Williams was still speaking.
Okay, we're starting over.
Still exactly as it should be.
Shoot.
Except for the figure.
Somebody tell me where the musical
exactly
instrument
as
is.
I'd seen him in the forest, motionless, chalk white,
Oh,
watching with those
something's
terrible
happening.
dark
Something's
eyes.
happening.
But now he was
And
close
I'm
enough
too
that I
tired
could
to
see
do this.
details that
Hopefully I
made
go
my
to
skin
sleep
crawl.
soon.
His fingers were too long, too pale.
I don't see an
ending in
instrument.
what might have been
Does anybody
fingernails,
see an
but looked more
instrument?
like small chips of bone. His hair was dark, but
I
somehow
don't
didn't
lose.
cast shadows on his face the way it should have. And his eyes.
Oh, drums.
His eyes
Okay.
seemed to be
Oh,
looking
I'm
directly
losing.
at me, even though I was sitting on the far side of the fire.
Is that a
I
vegetable?
must have made some
I'm gonna
sound,
play again.
a gasp or whimper, because Sarah glanced over at me with concern. When I looked back toward the darkness, he was gone. "Are you all right?" she whispered. I nodded, not trusting my voice. But I wasn't all right. I was beginning to understand that whatever was happening to me, it wasn't going to stop. The chalk white man wasn't just a random encounter in the woods. He was following me, watching me, waiting for something. The rest of the evening passed in a haze of paranoia. I helped clean up after worship, participated in the evening devotions, went through all the motions of normalcy, while my eyes constantly scanned the shadows. Every time I blinked, I expected to see that pale figure standing somewhere he hadn't been before.
Human.
Always watching, always patient.
Where's the human? Thank you for liking.
When we finally retreated to our
I
cabins,
can't find the human. Is that a human?
closest
Okay, I
to
guess
the
that
window,
works.
The other counselors joked about my sudden desire for fresh air.
Okay, bread. I see
but
the bread
needed to
right
be
there.
able to see
Dang.
outside.
Okay, fishing gear.
I lay in the darkness, listening to the familiar
Here's
sounds
fishing
of the
gear.
camp settling down for sleep. Whispered
Feather.
conversations, creaking bunk beds, the distant hoot of
Do
an
you guys
owl.
see feathers?
But
Feathers,
underneath it
feathers,
all,
feathers.
I could feel
Come
something.
feather.
A presence. A patient.
Oh, I can also do
Watching
birds.
presence that
Is there a
seemed to be
bird
just
around?
beyond the
Okay,
edge
there's a
of
feather.
perception. I must have dozed off eventually because I
Is there
looked
more?
upon a pale
That has
light
feathers.
streaming
Got
through
it.
the cabin window.
Vegetables.
The other counselors were sleeping soundly.
Oh, it
their
looks like a
breathing
vegetable.
deep and regular. Outside, the camp was silent except for the usual night sounds. Crickets, the distant rustle of leaves, the soft
No,
lapping
I
of
don't
the
see any
lake beyond the
vegetables.
trees.
Do you guys see any
And then I saw
vegetables?
him. He
I don't
stood
know,
directly
Luz. I
outside
don't
our
know.
cabin window, perhaps 3 feet away, separated from me by nothing but a thin pane of glass.
Maybe that?
In the moonlight,
It's a tomato.
his
I didn't
chalk
see a
white skin
tomato.
seemed to glow with its own inner light, and his
Let's see.
dark eyes
Humans.
reflected the moon like pools of black
That's a
water.
human.
He was looking
Okay.
directly at me, and I realized
Sun.
with a
There's a
sick
sun
certainty
there.
that he'd been standing there for some time, waiting for me to wake up. I wanted to
Sun
scream,
there.
to wake the others, to do something other than lie there paralyzed by terror. But as I stared at that impossible figure, I began to notice something even more disturbing than his presence. I couldn't see his reflection in the window glass. The moonlight was bright enough that I should have been able to see my own reflection. The reflection of the cabin interior.
Medical. I don't know what's medical.
But while I could see the chalk white man clearly,
Toilet
there
paper?
was no
Or is that a
reflection at
bandage?
all.
No.
It was as if he
I'm
existed
gonna
in some
lose.
space
I don't know
between
what's
reality
medical.
and nightmare, visible but not quite real. I blinked, a long, deliberate blink, and when I opened my eyes, he was gone. But the feeling of being watched remained. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I lay there, staring out the window, waiting for
Okay,
him to
2
return.
arrows.
As the hours passed, I found myself questioning everything I'd seen. Was I having some kind of
Got
breakdown?
it.
Had the stress of the new job,
Spot?
the responsibility
Oh,
of looking after
freaking know
younger
what a
campers,
spot.
finally caught up with me? But even as I tried to rationalize what I'd experienced, I couldn't shake the memory of those dark, patient eyes. There had been something in that gaze. Not just watchfulness,
Sweet.
but recognition. As if the chalk white man knew
Fan.
me.
Got
As
it.
if he'd been looking for me specifically. Dawn came slowly, painting the eastern
There's a
sky
leaf.
in shades of gray and pink. The other counselors began to stir, and I forced myself to act normal, to go through the motions of another day at camp.
Electrified.
But I could feel the weight of those dark eyes on me,
Nope.
even in broad daylight.
Shoot.
He was still out there, still watching, still waiting. During morning worship, I found myself scanning the tree line obsessively. Pastor Williams was leading us in a hymn about faith and trust, about walking through the valley of the shadow of death.
2
And I
animals.
couldn't
This
help
should
but
be
think
easy.
how appropriate those words were, because I was beginning to understand that whatever the chalk white man was, wherever he'd come
Is there
from,
more
he
animals?
wasn't going to
Okay.
simply disappear. He was part of my reality now. The question was whether that reality was something I could trust, or whether I was slowly losing my grip on sanity itself. As the song ended, and we bowed
Okay,
our heads for
something with
prayer,
teeth.
I closed my eyes and tried to find some peace, some center in the growing storm of my thoughts. But even with my eyes closed, I could
I
feel
don't
him
see any
out there,
teeth.
patient and eternal, waiting
There's
for
some
the
teeth.
next time I
Got
would
it.
have to blink. And in that moment of
Let's see.
darkness behind my eyelids, I realized the most terrifying
Wait,
truth.
what am I looking for?
I wasn't sure I wanted to know whether he was real or not.
I didn't even read
Because if
what
he
that
real,
was.
then the
Okay.
world was danger and more dangerous than I'd ever imagined.
Okay, a number.
And if he wasn't real, then I was losing my
1,
mind. Either way, I was trapped in a nightmare that had no clear
8.
end, watched by eyes that never closed, pursued by something that moved without moving, existed without existing, and waited with the patience of stone for something I couldn't even begin to understand. The prayer ended, and I opened my eyes to find Pastor Williams looking at me with concern. Around us, the other counselors were beginning to disperse, heading off to prepare for the day's activities. Everything was normal, peaceful, exactly as it should be. But I knew,
I don't see any
with a
shoes.
certainty that chilled me to the bone, that this was far from over. The chalk white man was still out there, still watching, still waiting. And sooner or later, he would blink closer
Got it.
again.
I got the shoe.
I
Okay,
just had to
shells.
hope that when he
Oh my
finally
god.
reached me, I would still be sane enough to
Shells,
understand what
shells,
he
shells.
wanted, or brave enough
Come
to find
on.
out.
Got the spot. Say seasoning?
Story 6.
Some salt or something?
The security monitor's blue glow painted my face in
That's
harsh shadows
seasoning? Maybe.
as I
I don't know.
watched door 3B swing open into the empty
Sweets,
hallway.
okay.
No one should have been in that wing. Hadn't been for months.
Isn't that an ice cream?
The timestamp read 2:47 a.m.
Female.
And Marcus was making his rounds on the opposite side of the building. I
Any
leaned forward,
girls?
squinting at the grainy footage, waiting for someone to emerge from the darkness beyond the doorframe. Nothing. The door remained open, a black mouth yawning into the abandoned tuberculosis ward of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. I'd been working security here for 8 months, long enough to know that doors didn't open themselves. The building groaned constantly, settling into its century-old bones. But the fire doors were heavy steel things that required deliberate force to move. I reached for my radio, thumb hovering over the call button. Marcus would think I was losing it again. Last week I'd sworn I heard footsteps in the children's ward, but when we investigated, we found nothing but dust motes dancing in our flashlight beams. The week before that, it was voices echoing from the surgical wing. Conversations
find
in
it.
languages
I
I
suck.
couldn't identify. Each
I
time
suck.
Marcus had given
Suck
me
at
that
this.
look,
Where's the
patient
sporting good?
but
I don't even
concerned,
know what that is.
like he was
That's sporting
watching me
goods?
unravel
That's
thread
not
by
sporting
thread.
goods.
The radio crackled.
Ridiculous. Okay, shell. Let's look for a crab or something.
Just finished the
Oh,
East
nutshell.
Coast. Everything's quiet
Come
over
on.
here.
How was that
I
not?
watched
Oh
the
my
monitor.
god.
The door hadn't
Sorry I
moved.
cussed.
Marcus,
I'm sorry I
can you
used
swing by
God's
3B?
name in
I
vain.
got something weird on camera.
Forgive me, God.
Define weird. Fire doors standing open. Been like that for about 3 minutes now. Static filled the silence before Marcus responded. On my
What
way.
am I getting? Oh, a
Don't
shell.
go alone. I shouldn't have been surprised by his caution.
I don't know how to.
3 security
Like,
guards
show
have quit in
what?
the past 6 months, all citing personal reasons that everyone knew meant the same thing. This place got under your skin. The Waverly Hills Sanatorium had been closed since 1961. Its tuberculosis patients long since relocated
We'll do chapter 1.
But
Let's
something
do it.
lingered in these halls. Whether it was history, imagination, or something else entirely.
How's everybody? What's going on, guys?
My flashlight beam cut through the darkness as I made my
Okay, we
way
gotta
to
find a
the third
chili.
floor.
Oh, there's
The
a chili.
elevator had been shut down for repairs.
There's the
Permanently,
cup.
it seemed.
And
So
there's
I
the
took
toilet
the
paper.
stairs.
Man, I'm too good at
Each
this
step
game.
echoed
Next.
in the concrete stairwell, the sound bouncing off walls that had absorbed decades of
Let's see.
suffering. The handrail felt cold even through my gloves. Metal that never seemed to warm despite the building's
Flashlight?
heating system.
There's
The
that.
smell hit me on the second floor landing.
Uh-oh, this is getting harder.
Disinfectant mixed with some
How did I hit
organic
that? Oh,
soap,
okay.
like flowers left too long in stagnant water. It was subtle but persistent, following me as I climbed
There's
higher.
that.
I'd smelled it before, usually in the early morning hours when fatigue played tricks
I
with
got it.
perception.
See, I'm just too good at this game. You guys aren't as good as me, bro.
Had mentioned that carbolic acid had been used extensively during the sanatorium's operating years. Sometimes old buildings held onto scents the way they held onto
Whatever. Okay,
memories.
let's see the next one.
The third floor hallway stretched before me, a tunnel of peeling paint and shadowed doorways.
There's a
My
cow.
flashlight beam revealed the usual debris.
Oh, these are
Chunks
getting
of
harder,
fireplace,
guys.
abandoned medical equipment too heavy to steal, and the ever-present dust that coated everything like a shroud. The fire door at the end of the hall stood closed. I stopped playing my light over the door's surface. Closed. Definitely closed. But the camera didn't lie. I'd watched it swing open, watched it remain open for minutes. Now it was shut tight, as if it had never moved at all.
Man, I can't find it.
Jim,
Can you guys find it?
Marcus's voice echoed from the
Let
stairwell.
me see.
You up there?
I wonder why nobody
Yeah,
talks
third
to
floor.
me, bro. I don't know.
I waited until his footsteps joined mine in the
Well,
hallway.
thank you guys for coming in.
Doors closed now. Marcus approached, his own flashlight joining mine to illuminate the steel door.
Okay.
He
I
tested
didn't
the
think
handle,
that was a thing.
locked, as it should be. The mechanism showed no signs of tampering, no evidence that anyone had forced it open. He examined the hinges, running his fingers along the frame. Cameras malfunction sometimes.
I'm having a hard time
but
on
his
this
tone
one.
lacked conviction. Especially the older ones. Motion sensors can glitch, make it look like something's moving when it's not. I wanted to accept that explanation.
Got that one.
It would have been easier to blame faulty equipment than to consider alternatives. But I'd seen the door open, watched it swing inward with deliberate slowness. as if someone on the other side had been testing whether the
Okay, I gotta
coast was
find this
clear.
arrow.
We returned to the security office, and I rewound the footage. The timestamp showed 2:47
Arrows,
a.m.,
arrows.
but the screen displayed only a closed
I
door.
can't find the
No
arrow.
movement, no opening. Nothing that matched what I'd witnessed.
Where's...
The digital file showed an unbroken sequence
I
of
don't see
static
the arrow at
images,
all.
the door remaining firmly shut throughout the night. Marcus watched over my shoulder as I fast-forwarded through hours of footage. Nothing. The hallway remained empty, the door undisturbed. Equipment malfunction, he repeated, but he didn't sound convinced. I'll put in a work order for the camera system. He left me alone with the monitors, but sleep felt impossible. I made coffee and
Oh, there's the
settled in for the
arrow.
remaining hours of my shift.
Okay, last thing is like a
Eyes fixed on the
mushroom.
screens that showed empty hallways and dark rooms. The building seemed to pulse around me, its heating system creating a rhythm that resembled breathing. Somewhere in the distance, metal expanded and contracted with soft pinging sounds, like fingers tapping against glass.
Oh,
The
boy.
next night, I arrived early, hoping to catch whatever had triggered the previous evening's
Couldn't
anomaly.
dry yourself out, okay.
The day shift guard mentioned nothing unusual.
No, that's... I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't mine.
I settled into the familiar
Dude, where
routine
is that
of monitoring
mushroom? I
empty
can't
spaces,
find it.
but my attention kept drifting to camera 3B.
Oh, it's there?
At
Was that the
2:30
whole...
a.m.,
That was the mushroom
lights
the
in
entire
third floor
time.
hallway flickered.
That was
Just
ridiculous,
a brief
guys.
interruption. The
This thing's
kind of
impossible.
electrical
This
hiccup
game is
that plagued old
impossible, bro.
buildings. But when the illumination steadied, the fire door was open again. This time, I
Okay,
didn't
so
hesitate.
there's that.
I grabbed my radio and headed for the stairs, taking them two at a time. The disinfectant smell was stronger tonight, almost overwhelming as I reached the third floor. But there was something else mixed in. Ozone, like the air after a lightning strike. The hallway was empty, and the door stood open exactly as I'd seen it on the monitor. I approached slowly, flashlight raised, and peered into the darkness beyond the threshold. The beam revealed a short corridor leading to what had once been a patient ward. Hospital beds still lined the walls, their metal frames twisted with age and neglect. I
There's
stepped
that
through
thing.
the doorway,
Got it.
and
I'm
the
so
temperature
good.
dropped
I'm like the
noticeably.
best at
My
this
breath
game, bro.
began to mist, and the smell of disinfectant
Let me
became
see.
so strong it made my eyes water. The floor creaked under my feet, ancient linoleum protesting my weight. That's when I heard it, a soft scraping sound, like metal dragging against concrete. It came from deeper in the ward, beyond the reach of my flashlight. I moved forward, following the sound, but it stopped as soon as I took a step.
Damn,
The
this
silence that
one's
followed was
hard.
absolute. No building sounds, no distant traffic, not even the whisper of air through the ventilation system. It was as if the entire world had been wrapped in cotton, muffling everything except the sound of my own breathing. I retreated to the doorway and called Marcus on the radio. When he arrived 10 minutes later, the door was closed again. Not just closed, sealed. Heavy metal plates had been welded over the frame, crude but effective barriers that definitely hadn't been there an hour before. The welds looked fresh with slag still scattered on the floor beneath them. Marcus ran his hands over the plates, testing their solidity. They didn't budge. The metal was real, the welds professional, as if a work crew had spent hours securing the doorway. But no one had entered the building. The alarm system would have detected any intrusion, and we held the only keys. This is impossible, Marcus muttered, but he was already reaching for his phone. I'm calling the supervisor. While we waited for backup, I reviewed the security footage
I
again.
can't find it,
The
guys.
cameras showed the door
Do you guys
opening
know
at
where it's at?
2:30 a.m., remaining open for exactly
Did I
11
like
minutes,
turn off
then
comments?
closing.
Like I haven't gotten any
There was no
comments.
record of
I
anyone
wonder if
entering
this
or
is...
leaving the building.
Maybe I put it,
No
made it
signs
just
of
for
building
kids, so
equipment or
now it's like
workers.
no
The metal
comments.
plates simply appeared,
Let's
as if they
see.
had materialized from nothing. 3 more guards arrived
Apple,
within an hour,
apple.
including the day supervisor and a maintenance technician. They examined the welded plates, took photographs, and ran diagnostics on the security system. Everything checked out. The building was secure, the alarms functioning properly, and the footage corroborated our story, up to a point. The point where the plates appeared from nowhere. Dr. Martinez arrived at dawn, summoned by a supervisor who was clearly out of his depth. She examined the welded door with the methodical approach of someone accustomed to unexplained phenomena. The Waverly Hills sanatorium had a reputation for strange occurrences, she explained. and the building's history included several incidents that defied conventional explanation. Tuberculosis patients were often isolated behind sealed doors, she told us as she measured the metal plates. Some of the more severe cases were essentially entombed in their rooms, the doorways welded shut to prevent the spread. It was considered a mercy. They were dying anyway.
Okay, let me try a different thing.
You're saying this happened before?
I might go to bed soon. I'm tired. See if I can find a better game.
Specifically designated for terminal cases. She paused, studying my expression. The last patients in this wing died in isolation, behind barriers very similar to
Drop Heart is a fun game. I actually did an advertisement for this game once.
A historical explanation for what we'd witnessed, but it only deepened my unease. If the building was somehow recreating its own past, what did that mean for those of us who worked
It
here?
needs nunchucks. I got it. I'm too
Echoes
good.
of old tragedies, or were we becoming part of a pattern that stretched back decades? Over the following weeks,
Got it.
I found myself
See, look at
obsessing over
I'm
the
just
sealed door.
beating everything.
The welded plates remained in place.
Isn't there like
Reminder
something
of
there?
that impossible night. But the obsession went deeper than
Look at that.
curiosity.
I'm like the
I
best.
began researching the sanatorium's history.
Is there a net that's
spending
supposed to go
my
in there?
off hours in
Yep,
the local
I'm the
library,
best. Come on.
reading medical records and newspaper accounts from the building's operational years. The stories I found were disturbing. Patients had indeed been sealed behind doors, sometimes while still alive. The practice was justified as quarantine, but the record
I know, what
suggested
do you
something
think?
more sinister.
There's supposed to be something there.
Staff members
Okay,
had
I
reported hearing
guess.
sounds from behind the welded barriers.
I guess I'm not the
Scratching.
best. Okay, wait,
Voices
there's a
calling for
helicopter.
help.
Got it. I'm
The
like,
sounds
see, I
continued
told
for
you I'm the
days
best,
after the
guys.
barriers were
You guys
installed,
can't even beat
then
this.
gradually faded to silence.
Got
One
it.
account particularly haunted me. A nurse named
I am
Catherine
the
Mills
best.
had reported
Oh.
seeing patients walking
Fix
the
the
halls
arcade.
months after
Oh.
their deaths, still seeking treatment that would never come. Her supervisor had dismissed the claims as stress-induced hallucinations, but Mills had persisted. She documented times, locations, and descriptions of the patients she encountered.
Okay. Then
The
I
final
go.
report, dated 3 days before she disappeared, described a fire door that opened and closed on its own, revealing glimpses of patients who had been dead for years.
You think I
The
can figure
similarity
this
to
out?
my own experience was unmistakable, but I couldn't determine
Apparently
whether
that
made
was
the
the
phenomenon
correct
more
answer.
real or less.
Ooh, I know.
Was I
Piggy
experiencing
bank
the
needs
same
that.
supernatural events that had
Yes. I
driven
told you,
Catherine
I'm
Mills
like
from
way
building?
too good at this game. You guys
Or was
are
I
never
succumbing
gonna
to
beat
the
me.
same psychological pressures
Got that.
had claimed
I
my
am the
sanity?
best. Watch
The
that.
question consumed me.
Watch it. Watch
I
it.
began taking photographs of the
So,
sealed door
oh,
during
a
my
percentage.
shifts,
Got
documenting
it.
any changes
I'm way
in the
better.
welded plates. They remained constant.
Why is
but my
Hitler here?
perception of them seemed to
Does he need a
shift.
shirt? Does
Sometimes the
Hitler
metal
need
looked
a
freshly
shirt?
installed. Other times it appeared aged and weathered, as if it had been in place
Maybe
for
he needs a
decades.
better mustache?
Marcus noticed my fixation and suggested I take some time off.
A hat?
The
Think
building
this
was
guy needs a
getting
hat?
to me, he
Oh,
said.
I am good. Oh,
The
it's
same
Charlie
way I'd done to
Chaplin.
the others who'd quit. But I couldn't leave.
No, he's not very
Not
happy.
when I was
Let's
so
make him a
close to understanding
slide.
what had
See,
happened
I'm
that
just too good at this game,
The
guys.
understanding came 3 weeks later, during
Watch
another
me
late
cook.
shift. I was reviewing the
What's
security
he crying?
footage
Does
when
he
I
need a
noticed
ball?
something I'd missed before. In the
What did
corner
I
of
do?
camera 3B's field of view, barely visible in the low resolution
Yeah, I'm
image,
just I'm
was a
way too
figure.
good, bro.
a person in what appeared to be medical
Look at that.
scrubs,
I'm just fixing
standing
teddy
in the hallway
bears. I'm just
out of clear
rushing.
sight. The timestamp showed
I think
2:46
there's one
a.m.,
string missing.
1 minute before the door had opened. I enhanced the image as much as the system would allow, but the figure remained frustratingly indistinct. It could have been a staff member, a trespasser,
I have no
or a
idea.
trick of light and shadow. But as
Okay.
I watched, the
I
figure
screwed up,
moved toward
guys.
the door. The image was too dark to
Well,
make out
obviously
details.
this is like a mushroom.
Movement
Oh,
was
it's a
deliberate,
gnome.
purposeful. Someone had been in that hallway.
Look at that.
Someone
This is
who
gonna be
shouldn't have been
beautiful.
there.
A peacock.
I called Marcus, but he didn't answer his radio.
Minecraft.
According to
Look
the
at
TV
that.
roster, he was
I
patrolling
am the real
East Wing,
Steve.
but when I checked those cameras, I couldn't locate him. A sick feeling began to build in my stomach as I searched through all the camera feeds, looking for any sign of my partner. He wasn't anywhere in the building. I tried his cell phone.
I wonder what's missing.
The parking lot camera showed his car in its usual spot, but Marcus himself had vanished. I considered calling for backup.
Oh.
What would I tell them? That my partner
He doesn't look like he's
disappeared
enjoying
while
that.
investigating a
Well,
door
obviously
maintenance
that's
by unknown
like a
workers
base.
using
Got it.
equipment that didn't exist. The radio crackled. Marcus's voice, distorted by static but recognizable. Jim, you there? I'm in the basement. You need to see
Look at
this.
that. Got it.
Relief flooded through me. Marcus, where have you been?
Well, I think she
I've been
needs
looking for
legs,
you.
but that's probably not the answer. Wait, does she need a hat? No.
There's something down
Oh,
here.
like that thing?
Something you need to see. I hesitated.
Oh, she needs like that string thing. Got it. Look at that. I'm just so good at this game. You guys.
But I'd suspected there were other reasons. The few times I'd descended those stairs, the atmosphere had felt
Does it need a key? A
different,
lock?
heavier, more oppressive.
Oh, is
As
this
if
like
the
a
weight
do
of
not
the
disturb
building's history
sign?
was concentrated in those underground chambers. Can it
Does
wait
it
until
need a
morning?
key?
I don't like leaving the monitors unattended. This can't wait, Jim. Trust me. The radio went silent. I stared at the screens, weighing my options. The smart thing would be to stay put, maintain my post, and wait for Marcus to return. But the image of that
What the
figure in the
hell's
hallway
that?
haunted me.
Sorry, guys.
Someone
I didn't mean to
that night. Someone
say
had
bad
disappeared
things.
from all records of the event. If Marcus had
Let's
found
see.
the evidence of an intruder,
Does he need another hand?
I
Look
locked the
at that.
security
He's
office
double
and
number
the basement
one.
stairs. The descent felt
Does he have an
longer than
idea?
usual, each step taking me deeper into the building's foundation. The walls down here were original stone, not the painted concrete.
MC squared? No.
Water stains created abstract patterns.
Does he need
on the
glasses?
surfaces,
Maybe?
and the air smelled of mold and decay. The basement
Dude,
level
I
was
can't
a
figure
maze
this
of
one out.
interconnected rooms that had served various functions during the
Should
sanatorium's
I do the
operation.
hint? Okay, let's see.
Storage, laundry,
A tongue?
kitchen facilities.
How was I supposed to figure that out? Come on, guys. That was cheating.
Bodies had been processed here before burial or transport.
Who
to
lives
the
in a
rooms.
pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob
Marcus, my voice echoed
SquarePants.
strangely in the confined space. Where are you? No response.
Does he need a cast or something?
Received no static. The
Is he gonna
basement's
throw up?
construction probably interfered with the signal. I continued
Shoes?
forward, following the
Oh, I
corridor
thought I
toward
needed a
where
cast. I
recruitment
tried that
work
already.
area. The beam of my
Well, this
flashlight
guy's gonna need a
revealed
glove.
the door.
Strike.
Brass nameplate. Pathology. This was
This
it.
guy's gonna
The room
fall
where
off a cliff.
autopsies had been
Bro,
performed,
like,
where the dead had given up their final
oh, she
secrets.
needs eyelash.
I tested the handle and found it.
That wasn't too bad.
The door swung open
I'm
to
guessing
reveal
it
a
needs
large
like
chamber filled with
green.
metal tables and equipment.
Look at that.
Some of the
I'm like
furniture was
unstoppable
original
on
to
this
the building.
game, bro. You
Other
guys aren't
pieces
even
appeared to be
close.
more recent additions, but what caught my
What's
attention
that? Yeah.
were several metal plates that
Yeah.
were welded over what appeared to be
Well,
doorways.
obviously that's ores.
The plates were identical to those sealing door 3B. I
Oh,
approached the wall.
I don't know what's wrong with
running my
her.
hands over the welded barriers. The metal was cold to the touch, and I could feel vibrations through the steel. Subtle tremors.
I think
that
there's one
suggested
there
something
too.
was moving
Okay.
on the other side. As I listened, pressing my ear to the plate, I heard what sounded like voices. Multiple voices, speaking in
Sniffing the
whispers
sun.
that I couldn't quite understand.
Black hole sun. Okay.
Words seemed to be in English.
Does he have
The
headsets?
acoustics of whatever
Look at that.
space
He's
lay
the
beyond
gamer.
barrier distorted them into incomprehensible murmurs.
This guy needs a shield. Got it.
Jim,
Oh, good thing I gave him a shield and he was
heart pounding.
karate.
Marcus
Oh, it
stood
needs
at the
like a
doorway, but
Brock
something was wrong with
Cobra
his
Kai.
appearance. His uniform looked different. Older, formal than
Oh,
the
it needs
standard
a
security
cord.
company issue.
Got it. Look at that.
And his
I'm
face
just so
seemed
good,
younger.
man.
The lines around his
None of you
eyes
can beat
moved
me.
away.
I'm like one of the best. Does this need like a signature?
And his voice carried a strange echo. I knew you would.
That
You're
looks like
persistent,
my signature.
just like Catherine was. Catherine, Nurse Mills. She understood.
What do you
what
guys
this
think it
place
is?
really
I don't know.
What it's
Should I
always
just
been.
press things until it gets?
Marcus, or the thing that looked like Marcus, stepped into the room. A threshold. A place where the boundaries become thin. I backed toward the sealed wall, my mind racing.
Okay, I guess
This wasn't
need
Marcus.
that.
It
This
couldn't
needs
be.
joust. Got it.
But the voice was his, and the mannerisms were familiar.
Oh, it needs a
Yet
disco
everything else
ball.
felt wrong, as if I was
Guess.
looking at a photograph that had been subtly altered.
Is this a TV?
The
I'm
doors
guessing
don't
it's a
seal
TV. I'll
themselves, Jim.
picture it.
We seal them. We've always sealed them. The question is whether you're going to help us, or whether you're going to end up on the other side. The whispers from behind the metal plates grew louder, more
Okay, I
insistent.
guess we're
I
supposed
could
to
make
draw
out
his parking
individual
spot.
words now. Pleas for help.
There we go.
Demands to be released. Accusations of betrayal. And underneath it all, a sound that made my blood freeze. The scraping of metal against stone, as if someone was trying to claw their way through the barriers. What do you want? I managed to ask. The same thing we've always wanted. To maintain the quarantine. To keep the infected contained. The thing that looked like Marcus smiled, but the expression never reached its
I
eyes.
thought I did that already. What?
Some diseases don't die with their hosts.
What the heck,
Some
guys?
diseases need different kinds
You
of
guys saw
treatment.
me draw that one.
I realized then that I had been asking the wrong questions.
Somewhere under the rainbow.
It was why I had been chosen to witness it. Why me? Why
Oh,
now?
I need to put tape in
Why had I
there.
been the
Look at
one to
that.
see the door
Wait,
open
come
when the
on.
cameras recorded nothing? The answer was simple and terrifying. Because
Oh,
I was
poor
supposed to see
kitty.
it. Because I was being recruited. You can leave, the Marcus thing said, as if reading my thoughts. Walk away, find another job. Pretend none of this happened. But you'll never forget what you've seen. And eventually,
Oh, maybe like
you'll come
that.
back. They always come back. The whispers behind the metal plates became a chorus.
Dude,
Dozens of
I know
voices
that's
calling
it.
my name.
Okay, what do you...
Some sounded familiar. Previous security guards, perhaps. Or maintenance workers who had encountered the same impossible choice. Join the
Okay,
quarantine effort.
I have to, like, draw it perfectly. Is that what... That was ridiculous. That one...
Marcus. At the sealed
Well, we gotta
door
save
that
this
vibrated
guy.
with trapped voices.
Okay,
At
well,
the
that one I...
pathology room where the dead had once been dissected
Look at
in
that.
search of answers that
Oh,
were
look,
never
it's
found.
ripped.
Everything felt real and unreal
Ew,
simultaneously.
a worm. I don't
As
think
if
I
I was
fixed it.
experiencing a waking dream that had been tailored specifically to my fears and
Oh,
obsessions.
maybe one of those helmet
That was the
things?
point, wasn't it? The building
Or like a
didn't just
mask?
house the dead. It housed the fears of the living. It took whatever haunted you and made it
A
manifest.
blow dryer.
Gave it weight
Got
and
it.
substance, and the power to change your reality. I ran.
Oh,
Through
there
the
it is.
basement corridors, up the stairs, past the security office with its bank of monitors.
Obviously, it's that one.
I didn't stop until I
Look at
reached
that.
my
I'm
car
just
in
so
the parking
good.
lot. Didn't breathe easily until I was
What?
miles away from
What?
the Waverly
I
Hills
have no
sanatorium.
idea. Oh, she needs
I
a
never
shoe.
returned to work.
Dang, I'm so good. I'm just like amazing at this game, guys. You guys are just not.
But I couldn't provide
You're not like as good as me. That's all,
psychiatric
bro.
evaluation. Eventually, they stopped calling. But the Marcus thing had been right about one thing. I can't forget what I saw. And sometimes, late at night, I find myself driving past the sanatorium. The building looks different now. Smaller somehow. And
I know that's it. Yeah.
just a
Okay.
structure filled with historical curiosities
Oh,
and
broccoli.
urban legends. The fire door on the third floor remains sealed behind its wells.
Why is it crying? Oh, it needs a
I
unicorn.
know because I've checked.
Look at that.
The barriers are
I'm way
still
better
there,
than you guys.
but they
Look at
look
that.
older, weathered by decades of neglect.
Oh, is that an egg?
As if they've always been
Yes.
there. As if that night in the basement was just another hallucination brought on by isolation and stress. But I know what I experienced. I know what choice I was offered, and what I chose instead. The question that haunts me now isn't whether the events were real or imaginary. The question is whether my choice was final, or whether I'm still being recruited. Whether the sealed doors are keeping something in.
I hate these ones where I have to like do it perfect.
Whether I'm still free, or whether I've just
You guys didn't hear me fart right.
Sometimes when I'm driving past the sanatorium at night, I see lights in the third floor windows, movement in the hallways, figures in medical scrubs checking rooms that should be empty. And sometimes I hear voices calling my name from behind welded metal plates, reminding me that some choices can't be avoided forever.
Did it.
That some quarantines are permanent.
Gotcha, bro.
Some doors once opened can never truly be closed.
Gotcha, bro. I'm just too good at this. Okay, let's see what this is. Gotcha, bro.
Story 7.
Oh, it's full moon?
The first
Got
thing
it.
I noticed
Okay,
wasn't the
at
twisted
300, I'm going to go to
or
bed,
the
I
smoke
think.
rising from the overturned sedan. It was the silence.
I think it needs that.
Out here on the
Got it.
plain, silence should be as
Dude, there's
natural.
500 people? Why are 500 people watching this?
This was the kind of quiet that makes your ears
Round
ring and your
one.
skin crawl, like the world
Oh,
had
round
suddenly
5.
forgotten how to make sound. I'd been driving road trains across this stretch of Australian
Well,
emptiness for
I don't
15
think I
years,
helped that guy. I think,
and I'd seen
oh,
my share
there
of
needs to be a
accidents.
hole.
Kangaroos were notorious for leaping into traffic at
This
dusk,
needs a mailbox.
their eyes reflecting headlights like twin stars before the inevitable impact. But as I downshifted my 48-ton rig and felt the air brakes hiss, something about this scene made my stomach clench. The sedan lay on its roof 20 meters from the asphalt, steam rising from its
Got
crumpled
it.
hood. The The acrid smell of burning rubber and hot
Pizza.
metal
I
filled
want
the
some
cab as I
pizza
rolled to a
tonight. Does
stop.
anybody else want
But
pizza?
underneath it was something
If you want
else.
pizza, like the screen,
Something
guys.
organic and wrong that made me want
If
to
you guys
close
love
the
pizza,
windows
make
and
sure
drive
you like
away.
this live. Because
I
if
grabbed
you
my
hate
flashlight
pizza,
and climbed
keep
down from the
scrolling.
cab.
But if you
My boots
love
crunching on
pizza,
scattered
like,
glass that
comment.
sparkled like frozen tears in the dying light. The sun was bleeding orange across the horizon.
I don't know what that is.
Casting
There's
long
some like
shadows that
scary
seemed to
stuff going
writhe
on.
and shift as I approached the
Does he need a
wreckage.
belt?
That's when I saw it.
Suspenders?
Through the spider-webbed windshield, a paw gripped the steering
Does he
wheel.
need to get
Not a
that?
human hand, but a kangaroo's forepaw.
Does he need some food?
Large,
Like,
dark, and
I don't know what this is. Oh, he needed a belt. That's
The
what I
fur was
thought.
singed, patches of skin showing through
Okay, a
where
bow?
the fire had licked at it. And the smell,
Kitty.
Christ, the smell was like burning hair.
She
and
needs
something
some
deeper.
head. She
Something
needs
that
like
reminded me of my
some
grandmother's
headsets.
house after
No,
she died and we'd
I'm
found
guessing
her
it's
3 days
that.
later. I circled the car, shining my light through the shattered windows. No body inside, human or otherwise.
That's cool.
Just that charred paw, still gripping
The
wheel
drunk
as if
Santa
whoever
needs a
had owned
beard.
it had been trying to
Oh,
steer
I'm so
even as
good,
everything
guys.
went to hell.
You guys
The
just wish you
rational
were
part
good.
of my mind, the part
Alright.
that had kept
If
me
you guys
sane
love
through years of
kittens,
long-haul
oh,
drives and too much
he
solitude,
needs one of those hats.
told me a kangaroo had been thrown through the
I'm way
windshield
smarter
of a
than
wreck,
everybody. Okay,
probably
that's that.
decapitated or
Got it.
worse,
Perfect.
leaving just the limb behind. Happened all the time.
Why is he so sad? Does he need like a
Doing their great
leaf?
mathematics. But as I straightened up and wiped
Does he
sweat
need
from my
legs?
forehead, I felt eyes on me,
Oh yeah, he needed
20
legs.
meters away, at the edge of my
Does he want a
flashlight's
burrito?
reach.
Oh, a bow
Something
tie.
moved. Not the nervous twitch
Okay,
of a wallaby
there needs to be
or the
some
deliberate
fire.
hop of a kangaroo, but something that seemed almost thoughtful. The beam caught a pair of dark eyes, unblinking and focused entirely on me. The kangaroo sat upright in the traditional pose, but something was wrong with its proportions. Too tall, maybe, or too still. In 15 years of driving these roads, I'd never seen
there a
one of the
laser?
big
Oh,
reds
it
just sit and
needs
stare like that.
like that.
They'd bolt
Oh,
at the
they
first
caught
sign
him.
of human approach, or if they were feeling territorial, they'd thump
Look
their
at that
tail
sexy
and show
hair.
their claws. This one just watched.
Too
I
sexy
called
for
out,
my hair.
more to break the
Too
oppressive
sexy
silence than
for
to
my hair.
communicate. The sound of my voice seemed to be absorbed by the air itself, falling flat.
Oh, does he have a little
The
dragon
kangaroo's
head over
ears
here?
didn't even twitch.
I knew it.
Then I noticed its left forepaw, where the
Uh-oh.
fur should have been thick
So
and
I'm just gonna
red-brown.
do that,
There
right?
was nothing but raw pink skin.
Look at that,
Fresh
floppy
burns,
birds.
still weeping. The same pattern of damage I'd
Oh,
just seen gripping the steering
yes.
wheel. My hand started shaking and I nearly dropped the
This
flashlight.
is like spray.
I blinked hard, squeezed my eyes shut, and opened them again. But the kangaroo was still there, still watching, still sporting injuries that should have been
I don't know what
impossible.
this was
I
like.
backed toward my truck, never taking
What
my
do you think
eyes
it
off
is?
the animal. It didn't move, didn't follow, just maintained that unsettling stare. By the time I reached
Oh,
the
one of
cab,
those straw
myself
things.
inside. My
Come
shirt
on,
was
that
soaked with
nobody
sweat
got
despite
that.
the cool
If anybody
evening
got
air.
that, like the screen,
I should have
guys,
called it in on
because
the
that
radio.
definitely wasn't right.
Accident, possible fatality, emergency services needed.
Sorry,
But what would I say?
smoking
That I'd
his
found a ghost
fake pipe.
kangaroo at the scene of a crash.
What
That
is
an animal had
is
been
she missing?
driving
Like
a
a
car and somehow
computer?
survived
Like,
being burned alive.
like what do you?
Instead,
What
I
are you
started the
missing?
engine and began pulling away,
Um,
watching the rear view mirrors as the scene
her
receded.
gamer headset. I'm
The
guessing
kangaroo hadn't
she's
moved from
missing
its
like the whole
position,
computer screen.
but something about its
A
posture
desk?
suggested it was disappointed,
I don't know.
angry.
Like that?
I was still trying to
Okay.
make
Oh,
sense
it's a
of what I'd
laptop.
seen
It has to
when
be
movement
that.
in my peripheral vision made me
Yes.
jerk the wheel.
Look at that.
The kangaroo was beside my truck, keeping
Like
pace at
water?
40 kilometers per hour.
Does he
Not
need
running
clothes?
alongside. That would have been impossible.
Does he need
But
glasses?
somehow maintaining the same speed, its powerful legs moving in a rhythm that didn't match its location. I pressed the accelerator.
Oh, it
pushing
needs
the
a
rate to
shower
60,
head.
then 70. The
All
speedometer
right,
climbed,
I guess.
but the kangaroo remained exactly
Is he
where it
bowling?
was, just
Yep,
at the edge
I
of
knew
my
it.
vision, running without seeming to run. Its burned paw
Does he need
occasionally
teeth?
visible as it
Got
bounded
it.
through the
Look at
scrub.
that. I'm just killing it right now, bro. Oh, he needs a snorkel. He's gonna die.
Just empty
Oh, one of
desert,
those
darkening
snorkels.
sky.
Got it.
But the moment I faced forward again, there
She
it
needs
was
a
in my
big
peripheral
giant
vision,
glizzy.
keeping pace like some kind of automatic
There's,
pace car
there you
for me.
go.
I drove like that for 2
Okay,
hours.
there you go.
My hands cramped around the
Bro,
steering
bro,
wheel.
come on.
Sweat
Don't do
stood
any
in
of
my
that sus
eyes.
stuff.
Every few minutes I glanced to the side.
Got
and
it.
every time there was nothing but empty landscape. But the second I looked away, the shadow in my peripheral vision would return. Always running, always keeping up, always there. The radio crackled to life. A burst of static that resolved into the voice
Now he
of
needs
Maureen
one of
from
those stupid
dispatch.
hairnets.
She
Okay.
wanted to know my location,
I
my
guess.
estimated time of arrival,
Bridge.
whether I'd seen anything unusual on the road. Standard check-in stuff. But her voice sounded different, distorted, like she was speaking through water or from a very great distance.
Rollerblades. Alright. I think I'm going to go to bed, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Okay.
I didn't mention the accident.
If there's over 100 likes, I'm going to stay for another 10
How
minutes.
could I? But as I spoke,
Let's see.
I noticed something that made my
Oh, there's
blood turn
100
to ice.
likes. Okay,
Radio
I'll stay on
display
for a
showed
little
the time
longer,
was
guys.
3:47 a.m. I'd left the accident scene just after sunset.
What time is it?
7:30.
Yeah, I should probably go. Okay, I'm going to go to bed, guys.
I had no memory of the intervening hours.
Oh, there's a feather.
No sense
Yeah,
of time
okay.
passing. The road stretched
I'll
ahead.
try and go on
Like
live
typical
tomorrow.
TV
Have a good day,
stretch I'd
guys.
driven.